That last video was long, which is why I wanted to stop it and give you my final tip, which is if you have an amazing wealth of costumes, like I am crazy, crazy lucky and grateful and privileged to have, there is nothing more fun than sharing that with other people. But there are certain things that you need to know. The first thing is that no matter what you think they will look good in, you never know what their preferences are. So what I like to do when I am thinking about loaning a gown or something to a man, I like to lay out or hang up like this anything that I think is likely to work for them. I weed out stuff that I know isn't going to fit. I take away things that I think just can't be made to work. A very short person and a very long dress, a very busty person and a very, very tiny bodice. That stuff, there's pretty much nothing you can do. But everything else is fair game. I love the patterns of Regency dresses which have the drawstring waistlines. There's a lot of these. They're very simple to make. And what you can do, in addition to gathering a lot at the back, is you run a gather at the waistline and you make it like 60 inches wide. And then you do the same thing with the top drawstring. And what you end up with is a gown. This is one that I made. This gown will fit almost anybody. This gown looks amazing on petite people. This gown looks fantastic on larger, bustier women because it is super wide. You can see in the video, 2 of me could fit in this, but there's a drawstring. And drawstrings mean it's just more ruffly and more full. Same thing with a drawstring at the top. You can see how very, very wide this neckline is. And I'm not even undoing the little bow, which has a ton of extra string. If I undid this, this would fit somebody who was 60 inches wide. And you can make these as big as you need to. So, take out anything that you know won't work. For example, if I was dressing me, if I was borrowing something, I definitely wouldn't leave this dress out. Because I don't know if you can tell, but this dress wouldn't even cover literally half of me. It's tiny. It's for some tiny, tiny little actress or somebody who is very young. Oh, okay, I dropped my hanger. So I will take out anything that I'm pretty sure just from eyeballing it will not work for them. Then I just tell them to look. I tell them to look at fabrics. I tell them to look at colors. I tell them to pick the thing that they would feel beautiful and wonderful wearing. I don't explain to them that these are day gowns and those are evening gowns, because you know what? You can always add a shawl. You can always add fancy jewelry. You can always put on an overdress. You can dress up a day gown. You can dress down an evening gown. I don't worry them about that, especially if they're a newbie. I say, what colors do you love? What do you think when you touch the fabric will make you feel wonderful? Because when you loan stuff to people, it really is about them. It's about them having a great experience being in costumes so that they'll want to do it again. Afterwards, after they've tried a couple of things on, after they've picked a dress, we've figured out something that will work, that will make them feel wonderful, that's when I worry about things like moving buttons over, putting an extra drawstring in, adding a sash that cinches something down, adding something to the bottom in order to give it length. The other thing that you can do is if they have an old slip of some kind, you can have them put the slip on underneath. If the slip is longer and it shows underneath, but it's lacy and pretty, who cares? That's fine. But you've fixed this length problem. It doesn't look like something is just completely short. There's tons of ways to fix it. But the most important thing is when you loan clothes out, make sure that the clothes are picked by the people borrowing them to make them feel beautiful. The flip side of that, make sure you only loan out things that you are willing to have ruined, because it's possible someone will drop an entire glass of beautiful dark red tawny port all down the front of that dress, and you may never get that stain out. It is possible that somebody will stomp on a train and rip the heck out of it, and you will never be able to mend that. Accidents always happen. So ask yourself in your heart, am I really willing to have this dress ruined? That's number one. Number two is give them dress shields. Ask every person you ever loan a piece of clothing to, hey, I learned about this amazing thing. Have you ever heard of it? It's called a dress shield. And you know what it is? It's like a women's sanitary product, but for your armpits. I have one. I should have grabbed it. Anyway, they have stick-ons. You put them on the inside of the sleeve. They go in the sleeve on one side, in the sleeve on the other side. And then if you sweat, it gets absorbed. And you peel that thing out and you throw it away. So number one, be ready to part with anything that you loan. Number two, educate people that there are ways of preserving the costumes and keeping them lovely and nice. Dress shields are a fantastic way to do that. You can look it up. HollywoodSecrets.com probably has them. They're called dress shields, and they go right in the armpit so that you can dance as much as you want to and not have to worry about getting that sweat smell out of a dress. The last thing is, if something that you're loaning does need special cleaning, let's say it can only be dry cleaned. Let's say that you are going to have to spend 2 hours soaking it or letting it air or doing something special. Tell that person that you will only loan it to them if they're willing to contribute to the upkeep of the garment. I have found that anybody who is being dressed up by me, and that usually includes undergarments, that usually includes hair. I love to go the whole 9 yards and just help dress somebody from head to toe. They are happy to give you $20 to cover the dry cleaning costs. They are happy to soak a skirt in OxiClean and do the cleaning themselves, as long as you are prepared to tell them how to do that without ruining the garment. So, number one, be willing to part with anything you loan. Number two, educate people and help them keep your things nice. And number three, encourage them to join you in taking care of these amazing, wonderful, beautiful, fabulous costumes that you have made or bought or borrowed or acquired over time, so that we can all keep dressing up together. Because fundamentally, at the end of the day, that is really what it's all about. Dressing up and having fun.